Beautiful music, beautiful energy. Good morning and welcome to the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Erin Marie Szymanski. It's great to have you all here today with us. I'd like to say hello to our online viewers too, any of you who are streaming with us on Facebook today. I invite you to share your stream so that others can join us as well. And the recording from today's service will be posted on our YouTube channel for your future viewing pleasure. We are a spiritual community that strives to support everybody on their particular path, wherever you are in your journey, in your place of life. We're here to love you and be with you along the way, as we know that you are here with us. So thank you for being part of our community here today. I invite you to join us in reading our mission statement together. We serve the transformation of individual lives through education, spiritual practice, and deep community, using spirit and science of mind principles as our compass. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce our practitioner this morning, Tammy Evans, who's going to start a 10-minute meditation with us and then bring us out in prayer.
Thank you. My honor to be doing this morning's meditation. You just want to take a few deep cleansing breaths. Get comfortable in your seat. Feet on the floor, hands in your lap. Today, I am curious and vulnerable as I explore paradoxes in my life. I take the time to realize that being curious is more important than being right. I simply be without needing to be right or even knowing what right is. I am reminded to stay open at the top and stand in the question. I passionately invest in solutions and release my attachment to what the solution looks like. Rumi says, out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. In that field is a spiritual realm where love reigns. True love, spiritual love, is beyond the realm of good and evil, right and wrong. In that field, the heart leads the way. Earthly concerns are left behind. The window for love opens, and our priorities change. curious about the solutions. Where in your life can you know that the essence of who you are is love, and act accordingly? Love is a place where we can let go of our judgments and our expectations. Love is a place where we can be ourselves without fear of rejection. Love is a place where we can connect with our partner on a deep level. Love is a place where we can experience oneness with the universe. Namaste. Now, staying in that field, that place where only love resides, let my words become yours as we take this into prayer. There's only one love, one compassion, one understanding. It lies beneath the veil, beneath the surface, and everywhere all at once. It lies in that field, out beyond wrongdoings and right doings, where there is only love. I lift the veil, I look beneath the surface, and I see myself. I see us, and I'm not surprised because I know that all of us are one, and one with the one. We are that. We are love, compassion, and understanding, and we are everywhere all at once. Together we stand in the field of love. We meet each other there. I remember to stay curious and vulnerable as I explore paradoxes in my life. I know that when I show up and I'm vulnerable and I allow others to see the messiest sides of myself, that they will stand in that field of love and see me and love me and understand me. I release the self-judgment that seeps into the cracks and makes me feel like a failure. I claim a willingness to play in vulnerability with curiosity and uncertainty. I stay open at the top to allow my mind to change when presented with information that contradicts my beliefs. Today, I'm so grateful to stand in the question, to know that that field of unconditional love is out there and that we're going to meet there. I release this into the vastness of the universe, knowing that the law has said yes to our curiosity, our vulnerability, knowing that there is only love. I let it go. I take my oars out of the water and I allow my ship to take me where it will. And so it is.
Down in my soul.
we're continuing this month with our theme of playing with paradox, and today, shaking up our worldview. But before we get into all that, I want to start with a few dad jokes. Got 3 for you. Why didn't the witch fly on her broom when she was angry? She was afraid she would fly off the handle. How did Darth Vader know what Luke got him for his birthday? He felt his presence. All right, last one. What do you call birds that stick together? Velcros. There's a point to this, I promise. Glad some of you really appreciate it. My father actually bought a daily dad joke calendar for himself to share with us kids. So he texts us his daily dad jokes every day. And it's kind of fun. You know, dad jokes have opened us up to curiosity and a different way of thinking about things. It's a little bit of a mental puzzle. We know there's an answer to it. There might be more than one answer to it. It's probably going to be a little bit corny. And it just makes us think about things a little bit differently, you know, to play with words, to play with our view of things, a different way of putting things together. And I do know a few people who actually like to spend a lot of time trying to figure them out before we tell them what the answer is. One of my sisters actually asked to have the question sent separate from the answer so she could think about it first. I'm not one of those people. I just want to know the answer because I want to be able to laugh about it, or I want to be able to groan if it's one of those, and then, you know, move on. Share it if it's a good one, and, you know, just get a laugh out of it. And I think that's probably most people. We like to have the answer. And even if it's as simple as a dad joke, it can be hard to sit in the unknown. You know, sometimes those dad jokes, I'm just like, oh God, I don't know the answer. Just go ahead and tell me. And that desire to kind of know the answer, to not have to sit in that space of unknowing and awkwardness and discomfort, starts really young. You know, as kids, little kids, they're running around saying, well, why? Why this? Why that? Why? Tell me about it. And, you know, if an adult doesn't know the answer and is willing to say, I don't know, or just gets kind of fed up with the constant barrage of questions and answers, sometimes the kids get frustrated, right? Because they want to know, they want to understand, they want it all to make sense. And I think probably most of us here grew up in a time where we didn't have internet with like Google and stuff to be able to immediately search our answers out for questions, right? I remember being on the bus going to school and wondering what that song lyric was and not being able just to search for it and figure it out, right? Or any number of questions, you know, that nowadays we have so much information right at our fingertips. If I've got a question, I can just grab my phone, I don't even have to go to a computer, I can just grab my phone, oh, that's why black cats are considered bad luck. That was my search for the morning today. We have information just immediately at our fingertips, and so much of it that now we have to be discerning about where our information comes from, right? Is this a source I can trust? Is it maybe not a source I can trust so much? And what happens when I have different sources telling me different things? It's an interesting time that we live in where we don't have to spend as much time sitting in the discomfort of the unknown, sitting in that question of, well, why is that? You know, where did that come from? What is the meaning? The desire to have questions answered and to know the outcomes of things is really associated with our desire to feel safe and secure too. Because the more that's unknown and the more that's kind of mysterious and unanswerable, the more vulnerable we can feel in our particular place and time in life. If we can understand what's happening and we know why it's happening and we can know what to expect, what the outcomes might be, then we can plan and we can prepare, and we can make adjustments to our life and change things to allow ourselves to have as little disruption to our lives as possible. I work with patients who have cancer, right, as a nurse practitioner. And when patients get a new diagnosis or their cancer comes back or we want to do a new treatment, so many questions, right? So many questions. Well, what are my treatment options? What's the success rate? How long is it going to take? What are the side effects? Will I have to be in the hospital? Will I be able to see my family? How much time do I have? So many questions. And that's okay. That's very, very normal. Because the more information we can have, the more it helps us kind of understand what's happening in our lives, this big new change, this thing that's being shaken up. It can help us plan and prepare and make choices in a different way because we have more information. And that's true, I think, pretty much in all areas of our lives. As more information we can have, the more we can try to keep things under control, or we like to think so anyway. And that happens in our spiritual communities too. It happens here at Columbus Center for Spiritual Living. What do Reverend Amy and I keep getting asked? What is it going to look like after next Sunday? What's the center going to look like? What are we going to do? How are we going to stay in communication? When are we going to meet again? Lots and lots of questions. And do we know the answers? Not really. We have some ideas, right? But we're in that space of don't really know yet. Don't really know yet. And that's uncomfortable and a little awkward and not what we're used to because we normally have a plan. We know what's going to happen after October 22nd most of the time. But right now we don't. How and what and when and where and who. We don't get asked why so much. And that's interesting. Because why is an important question too. We need to understand why. Why is this particular chapter of the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living closing? And why do we want to keep it going? Because there's still a lot of energy and love and passion for this community and a desire for something to keep going. We just don't know what that is. So why? Why? And there is a part of me that does really want to start planning now, wants to start answering those questions, right? Have ideas and suggestions. But this isn't the time for that. This is the time for the paradox. This is the time for the both and. We are a community that is closing this chapter of our time together. And we're at the same time a community that is excited for whatever that next chapter is going to be. We're a community whose numbers have been dwindling, but we're also a community that really desires to stay together and to welcome more people. We're a community that energetically has been getting tired. But we're also a community that energetically is very passionate and still very excited and still very deeply loving. And there's a lot of energy in that. So how do we live in this paradox that we are this and we're also this, and they seem to be very different things, and they're at the same time right now for us? How do we live in that paradox? And how do we do that without trying to rush into answers, without trying to solve the problem and fix it and know right now exactly what October 29th and November 5th and whatever happens next is going to look like? F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote that the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposite ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. To be able to hold these two very different things and not let it be crippling, not let it break us down and overwhelm, but to be able to say, yes, this and this, and there's a way forward with that. There's a way to be now in that, and there's a way for something to become from that. To not rush into an answer, and to not have to make one thing right and another thing wrong in order to be able to be at peace. So this is our time of paradox as a community. And it's our time to be curious. When we're curious, we have two things. We have a high level of investment, and we have a low attachment to the outcomes. A high level of investment and a low attachment to the outcomes. We are invested, highly invested in this community, or else we wouldn't be here right now. We know that this chapter is coming to a close, and we could have just been like, okay, you know what? Peace, love you all, have a good life. I'll maybe see you again, whatever. Right? But we're not. We're here. We're here to continue loving and supporting each other and being present and seeing what happens next. We are invested. Curiosity, though, it has a second component, right? That low attachment to outcomes. We have to be open to not knowing the definite answer. And if we think we do have the answer, and we're really attached to what that answer is, then we've closed ourselves off to all the other possible answers that are out there. And this applies in all areas of our life too, right? So if it's looking for a new job, or it's moving homes, or it's, is this somebody I want to date or not? You know, like the gambit of things that we face in our lives where there are decisions to make. At the point that we absolutely narrow in on one thing, the other things cease to be options for us in that moment. So as a community right now, this is our time to keep our options wide open, to play in the curiosity, and to see what Spirit has to move in and through us right now, to let that play in our community. Because when we close our curiosity, we limit Spirit's ability to express and create new things. So, what if we choose to enter this next phase of whatever Columbus Center for Spiritual Living is going to be from a mindset of curiosity? If we allowed ourselves just to sit for a little while in this space of unknowing and curiosity and paradox, to experience the mystery and the tension, and be willing to sit in that without rushing to the answer. And we might not even know what the right question is we're asking right now. Is it who are we? Is it what do we need for ourselves as individuals? Or what do we need from each other as a community? What is life-giving to us? What inspires us? What helps us grow? Like, all of those are very valid, important questions to ask in the context of our spiritual community and who we want to be and what we want to create together. So let's open our imagination. Let's open our wonder in this time. Let's listen inside ourselves for our truth and believe in those infinite possibilities that are present in Spirit right now and are therefore present in each one of us and in our community. Let's play with questions. What if we didn't meet on Sunday mornings? What if we met on Monday evenings? Who knows? What if we were meeting in someone's home over a potluck meal, talking about a spiritual reading? What if we had a different leader every time? What if we had a prayer circle or a spiritual sing-along? Or if once a month we were doing a service project in the community? And there are so many possibilities. And in this time, we have them all open to us. We can be and express and show up as whatever we choose to be. And that's a pretty amazing opportunity. It's almost like a little bit of a reset button to say, okay, let's clear the slate and let's see. What shows up? What is inspiring? What is Spirit bringing forth in us now? What if people felt inspired to share their skills and their passions? What if we were a community that had a lot of youth and children? What would that look like? Right? This is our chance to stay open and invite and create whatever it is that is there in Spirit in each of us to create. And here's another paradox, because in Science of Mind we teach that whatever you want, you can have it, right? Whatever you want, align yourself in that flow of Spirit, do the work, do the prayer, do the consciousness, and that can be true in your life. But at the same time, we can't have it all. My nephew can't be a paleontologist and an astronaut and a firefighter all at the same time. I cannot live here in Columbus and in Bellingham, Washington, that I love so much, and in Rochester, Minnesota, and in St. Louis, all at the same time. And we can't run a center of 20 people as if we are still the center that was 200 people, or the center of however many people that we may one day be again. We cannot be all of these things at the same time. And so in Spirit, there is that paradox too, that yes, it is all possible, but we cannot be all of it in our human beingness. We cannot be all that Spirit is in this one expression. I get to be the one expression I am, and you all get to be the one expression that you are. And as a community, we get to be our one expression as a community. But we are not all of it. And so this is our chance to explore what that all is and to narrow ourselves in then as to what we want to be and how we want to show up together as a community. We got to play in the all. We got to experience that all of Spirit before we can choose what it's going to be and show up as for us here. So in Science of Mind, in our teaching, we have to be present in the now at the same time that we're holding the vision of what we want to be in the future. Again, another paradox there. We have to serve our current community and its needs while also the vision of what we're growing into and becoming. And that even as we're grounded in this present moment, we have to be careful not to hold it too tightly, because everything is always changing too. And no matter how much we plan or how much we seek our answers, the vast majority of life is outside of our control. No matter how much we want to believe we're in control, the vast majority of it is outside of our control. It's just that most of the time things happen to be going our way. There's illness, right? Can't control the traffic. We can't control the weather. Contracts are broken. People just suddenly die, just out of nowhere. It happens. Show up to a music performance and find your piano's not tuned. That stuff can happen, right? And it can really throw a wrench in things, but we stay present in the now lightly, so that when those things come up that throw things, a little wrench in the mix, we can gently make an adjustment and move forward instead of feeling like our whole life is disrupted because we were holding so tightly. The more flexible we can be, the more we can approach our life with curiosity, then the more we can roll with those unexpected challenges. And staying curious, it has a degree of vulnerability to it because it's open to that uncertainty. It's open to the mystery and what we don't know. And that we don't know exactly what's next and exactly what it's going to look like. But we do know that Spirit's present in all of it. We do know that the divine is continuing to show up and express and create and recreate and invite us into something new, something full, something beautiful. We know that Spirit inspires. And we know that life is born of death. And we know that the same stuff that makes ashes, that carbon and nitrogen, that is literally the same stuff that makes up these living, breathing bodies of ours. It's the same. It's all one. So let's stay curious. This is our chance to dream and imagine and reflect on what we need for ourselves as individuals on a spiritual journey and as a community together on a spiritual journey. We're in a space of a beautiful moment of time, really, where we get to experience both a dying of sorts and a birthing of sorts. A beautiful transition that we get to be conscious in participating in. We get to play a role in that and what it looks like and what it becomes. And that's beautiful. Let's just not rush to the answer. Let's stay in that transition space and invite Spirit to show up through us and in us in our next becoming. Zen Buddhists are really familiar with this idea of paradox too. They have a very deep spiritual practice that's tied to paradox. They use phrases or stories called koans to illustrate this and to live this as a spiritual practice. These koans are phrases that seem paradoxical or nonsensical, but have a really deep spiritual meaning the longer that they sit in the mystery of it and the practice of it. So for example, one is, 2 hands clap and there is a sound. What is the sound of one hand? There's no immediate answer to that, the same way that there is for a dad joke, right? There's no quick answer. And that's intended on purpose for the student to sit in the paradox of that question, in the mystery of that question, for hours, for days, for weeks, for months, for however long it takes to enter the experience of the question itself. And this particular question, all the koans, they have very specific answers. And not only do they have very specific answers, but the teacher will then continue to kind of push the question, ask another level to the question, ask another level to the question. Sometimes there can be like up to 100 follow-up questions on a single koan until the student has really gotten to the heart of the answer to that question. This particular one about the hands clapping is about non-duality. It's about the hand that is somehow clapping on its own. That hand and the seeker are one. They're one and the same. That the subject, the student, and the object, the hand, they're not 2 separate dualities, but one and the same. And that the question itself, the koan, and the student, the seeker, are also one and the same. And that as the student becomes one with the question and the koan, that is the sound of one hand clapping. And if that is at all confusing to you, yes, and that is why the students sit with it for weeks and for months to understand the mystery and the paradox of the oneness in it all. Rumi, who was a Sufi like a mystic in the Muslim faith, he said, "What you are seeking is seeking you." It's another way of looking at the oneness in it all. What you are seeking is seeking you. And what if as a center, as a spiritual community, we thought about our community that way? That what we are seeking as a community, what we are seeking in our divine expression, is actually seeking us. I'm going to close with a story and we'll follow up by Mark Nepo in his Book of Awakening. He writes about a trip he had taken to the botanical gardens in Montreal with one of his friends, and this is what he says. We were up early, eager to walk the botanical gardens of Montreal, where they have the largest bonsai collection in the world outside of Asia. We strolled toward the Chinese Temple Garden, a lush yet simple retreat from the streets, and it covers acres. A place of renewal originally constructed in the 1600s in China and moved stone by stone to Montreal in 1990. As we approached the massive gate, it was locked. I panicked, ready to demand entry after driving 400 miles from another country to see this. Robert calmly, like an Oriental sage himself, treated the situation as if it were a cone, a riddle to be entered until its very assumptions shifted. He began to walk the outer wall of the garden. It seemed insurmountable. I was frustrated, but he kept walking slowly along the high wall. And since the garden stretched for acres, I wondered if we would have to walk its entire perimeter. The thought made me cranky. He kept strolling. Suddenly, when we had walked farther than was originally in our view, the walls disappeared. It turned out that the garden had no walls, save for the facade at its entrance. So we simply walked through the open grass to a path that welcomed us. How many thresholds that seemed blocked or barred or locked only seemed so from their initial viewing. How many opportunities for true living are barrier-free if we can only remove ourselves and our minds from the traditional points of entry. So we at the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living, we're kind of at that place right now of wandering the edge of the wall and the gate and wondering what is beyond this? Where do we go? What is next? Ideas of limitation and lack. There's not enough people, not enough money, not enough energy, not enough time, not enough banging our heads on the wall. This is our opportunity to shift the perspective, to walk a little further down the road, down the path, and see really what all is wide open there in front of us. The bounty of spirit that is there and available. To open ourselves up to that infinite expression of spirit. Finally, Ernest Holmes said, we must open the doors of our consciousness, expand and expand and expand. No longer think in terms of the backyard lot, but in terms of the infinite nature, in terms of the universe. That's where we are. We're at that place of infinite nature, the whole universe open and available. That's us. That's our community. That's pretty amazing. Pretty beautiful. So I'm going to invite you to join me in prayer about that. There is only one. Everything that is, everything we know, everything that is a mystery and a paradox, it is all one. Part of that divine expression of spirit. The black holes at the centers of galaxies, down to the tiniest little particles in our cells. It's all one, all spirit. And I know that I, myself, and this whole community here as the Columbus Center for Spiritual Living, we are expressions of that divine, of that one, of that spirit. and that we cannot exist outside of Spirit. I know that we are sustained moment by moment in the mystery of it all, in the great divine breath, in creativity and renewal. And I know for this community that we seize this moment, this now that we have, to be curious and playful and allow ourselves to be inspired. That we show up in this world in the most perfect way that we can, in love. And that as we listen, each one of us inwardly, to the moving of Spirit, to that divine inspiration, that as we each show up in that way for each other, this community is truly magnificent. And it's okay not to know what the future holds, because we know that now all is well. All is perfect and whole in Spirit. I give thanks for this opportunity to be on that cusp of transition and change. To be able to see it for the blessing that it is, the miracle that it is of divine creation, and to trust the process. I give thanks for each one in this community that shows up in love, that has loved me and loved each other, that has been Spirit in the world. And from this place of deep gratitude, I ground myself in the truth of knowing, yes, truly, all is well. And I release these words, this prayer, into that one, together saying, and so it is.
So it is.
It is now time for the giving of our gifts. I'd like to thank you all for the ways that you consciously continue to support our center here and our community in your prayer, in your time, in setting up chairs and tables and bringing flowers and all the loving things you do. We've even got some food in the back there, some cake it looks like, to celebrate Reverend Amy's birthday was yesterday. So lots of wonderful ways that this community shows up and supports each other. And although we are having our last Sunday service for this time next week, we do still need and appreciate your financial contributions, because we do still have expenses right now, and we are still planning for whatever is next, and we want whatever is next to be able to start in a place of financial security. So we thank you for any ways that you are able to support us at this time. We do have many ways for you to be able to donate. There's a text to give number. You can also send checks in the mail the old-fashioned way. Any way you can contribute is much appreciated. And I'd like to invite you to say our affirmation blessing with me. My gift goes forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does its good and perfect work and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
As we witness the circulation, join me in singing All That I Need.
Of this universe flow endlessly through, around, and in my spiritual home. As a center, we claim the supply, knowing that as we reach for it, all the love, support, and abundance that we reach for is there, just waiting for us to claim it. Our source is abundant. There is no struggle. I'm so grateful for this good that is ours to have, and for the godlings that support us each week. The law of it says yes, and together we manifest mountains. I let it go, and please sing with me.
And so it is, and so we let it be. And so it is, and so we let it be.
Thank you, Tammy. Tammy Evans serving as our practitioner today for meditation and on platform. A big thank you to Tony Bernardi, who is our musician on keyboard, the tambourine, the song leader. He's the man. Thank you to Robin Tapman for live streaming on Facebook and for our slides. And thank you to all the other volunteers who have shown up and been in service to our community today to create a space of celebration and community. And last but not least, of course, thank you all for being here and being part of this community, showing up in love all the time. If you are joining us for the first time today, we do have a welcome packet that you're welcome to take with you. If you're seeing us online for the first time, we'd still be happy to mail that out to you. And even though we are kind of transitioning into whatever the next new thing is, we will be staying in communication with updates on Facebook and by email, newsletters. So if you want to be part of that process with us, make sure that you're receiving communication that way. We can help you get signed up. And I think that is it for now. Tammy's got our last closing announcements, and then looks like we have some cake.
By the ocean.
So everyone is invited to our Farewell for Now service next Sunday, October 22nd. You can check for your, in your email for the recent invite. After service next week, we will enjoy a potluck meal together, bring your favorite dish to share. After service, we will invite you to help us clear out our storage unit. Bring boxes, bags, or totes to place your items in and to take with you. We have school and art supplies, linens, and much more. And we'll only have October 22nd available for this, and love offering is greatly appreciated. If you want to take and store items for future CCSL use, you will be responsible for those items until then. And as always, if you need prayer after service or any time through the week, you can find our prayer practitioners on our website, ColumbusCSL.org, or you can submit a prayer request on our Facebook page. We'll see one today after service. And then also Carla and Craig are inviting you to their home on November 19th and January 21st for a friendship gathering to live, love, and laugh together. Since we will try to do this every couple of months, if anyone wants to teach, play games, summarize the book, play music, let us know. And in November, they will have quiche, water, and tea. Bring what you would like to share. I'm sure we can get this out in the email. All right, and please say our blessings with me. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so it is. Let's all stand for our closing song.